Hey there, you guys. What's going on? So, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Instagram. And if, for those of you who are on Instagram here with me live or um, YouTube here with me live. I forgot what I was doing. I'm double streaming. So you're going to get a little bit different view, but I'm glad you're here and I just want to get this information to you. So, like, the big thing was this week I did a podcast on AVA Live Radio about Instagram. And the reason why is because so many of you want to promote your brands and you want to promote your music, your art, whatever it is. Like, creatively speaking, there's a lot for you to do. And I think that it's a really smart move. A lot of you guys have been asking me, should I create an Instagram profile for myself? Should I really put a lot of time and energy into Instagram? And honestly, yes, you should. Absolutely. Um, because Instagram is enormous and it's proven right now that it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So the big thing is to just kind of seat yourself wherever the trends really are. So if you're not like a fan of TikTok, if you're not a fan of Facebook, Instagram is certainly a good option. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I've used Instagram and how I've advised people to use Instagram to promote their music, to promote their brands, to make sales, to build pages. And Instagram is good like that. Like, if you were on Facebook, you wouldn't necessarily need a lot of different pages, right? But on Instagram, you can build specific niche pages. And I'm going to tell you today why and what the advantages of having that, and also how to use it to make sales, because a lot of you are creative and you want to start making sales with your work, and you should, you know what I mean. And how to also start bringing in people 24/7 to your Instagram page, like how to find new followers, how to shape out your posts. Now, this I'm getting right off of, I did a blog post for the podcast, and the podcast did so well. You guys had some questions. So on this video, I'm going to address the questions that we didn't do in the podcast, but you certainly want to go and listen to the podcast. It's at avaliveradio.info/Jax Daily. So avaliveradio.info/Jax Daily. I think it's like their second post on there. Build your brand on Instagram. You'll see my pictures on it, and that's it. You can listen to the podcast. I'll link it in the description below when we're done filming this episode on YouTube for those of you there, and I can also link it in Instagram in the stories for you guys too, so that you won't miss it. But that's the address. So basically, the big thing about Instagram is it's very personal. Even for business brands, it is a great place to be because people are constantly scrolling. And if you have something interesting, not only can you use hashtags to introduce it to people, you can physically introduce yourself to people. You can find people through other people's profiles. You can attract people to you, and it's a very popular profile right now and popular social media page. So what happens is, if people do follow you on other platforms, it's pretty easy to send them to Instagram for specific things. Like, for instance, right now I have leaders on Facebook helping me to direct people who are interested in my artwork to a profile on Instagram that's just dedicated to the artwork. So I have a personal profile at Jacqueline Jax, but I didn't want that to just be like pictures of my artwork. But so you guys like pictures of me on that profile. And so if I start just posting pictures of artwork, I didn't get as much engagement and it wasn't as good for my profile. And all of the followers didn't really want to see that. So like, I built a separate platform just for my artwork, and that really works out. That's actually a great thing to do, because then you can showcase your music, showcase your art, and thank you so much. Showcase your music, showcase your art, and that's where people would go. You could send them just for that, and it can be making sales for you. It can be like engaging people, telling them what you do. It can be anything you want. But I would totally invest in these things. I would invest in content for these Instagram pages, because the better quality the photos, the more likely people are to follow. People always ask me, hey, we're promoting like crazy, but nobody's following us. And then I go to their page and it looks too advertising. It looks like there's not enough quality pictures. There's not enough interesting pictures. Even if you do a lot of pictures, they're like, they look all the same, you know? So maybe alternate your pictures and add some words of wisdom, add some video, you know? So you want to shape it out like your favorite pages. You know, you don't just want to like look at your favorite pages of people who are doing really, really well and then go do something else. You know, you want to look at the style that they use, for example, right? So like, say you like different bands, go to your favorite band's page, and if they are doing well, look at the kind of content. Like, take a look. Do they have professional photos? Is it a mix of photos? Are there photos in series? Like, are they doing like a 9 photo series right now of like everything from the latest album or everything from the latest stage? Are there 9 videos on there, like clips of their videos? Are there 9 ways to listen to their music? I mean, like, whatever's in that first 9 is like your visual presentation to the world every time you send somebody to Instagram. So if in those 9 it's like cheeseburgers, fries, you know, and the dog, it's definitely not going to promote your music. It's not going to tell people what you do, despite the fact that you have it in your bio. And it's probably not going to be, really, it's definitely not going to make sales for you, right? So that's too personal. That's something like, say, okay, so for instance, depending on your brand, and this has got to be, you have to be a little more specific than I can be with you because I don't have your profile and I don't know. But for instance, if I'm going to put music and artwork on my Jacqueline Jax artist profile, it's growing consistently because the people who follow that page want to see more music from me and they want to see more artwork from me. So it is okay for me to put up my art posts, visuals of the artwork, in the process, stage work, in the studio work, behind the scenes stuff. And in the stories, they're going to expect the day in the life of what it takes to get that front page done. Does that make sense? Right? Because it's a business profile. It's promoting my artwork. It's promoting me as an artist. And that is really, really specific. So now, like, I can get away with some of that stuff on my personal profile, but because my personal profile was built, right, people like to see my picture and my words of wisdom on there, just like a daily check-in. And that's really what does well. They go there, they write me and say, that's exactly what I want from you. That's exactly what I count on this profile for. So if I change it up, I notice that engagement goes down and they get like a little disappointed that I haven't shared like words of wisdom or a struggle or a hurdle. So that's why I have 2 separate platforms, because once you build one, they will specifically tune in for that thing and expect that from you. And that's the benefit. Also, it's a benefit to have more than one because you're going to reach people differently. That's just the way the algorithm works. It's not going to reach them the same way. Like if I use the same hashtags on one and the other the same day, I reach a whole different group of people, and some of the profile posts will go to like 62% new people and others won't, and I'm using the same hashtags. So they do perform differently based on the history of the profile, how many people are going to you for what, and what they're engaging with on there. So that has to be taken into consideration when you're building these pages for them to keep working for you. All right, so like 80% of Instagram users follow at least one business profile. How many of you follow business profiles? I mean, like music business profiles, professionals in the music industry, professional artists. I do. I follow pretty much all of that. I don't think I follow too many people unless they're a client of mine that has a privacy set profile. So don't set it to privacy if you really, really want people to follow you, because obviously they can't see what's going on and they think it's private and they're invading your territory. So don't do that. All right, so the next statistic is 60% of Instagram users regularly discover new products and purchase from the platform. I actually shop the platform. So just so you know, I shop on Instagram. People can sell me clothing on Instagram. They can sell me unusual gift ideas. They can sell me music, like vinyl records. They can sell me pretty much anything that is artistic, creative, and unusual that I can't get anywhere else. That's pretty much what I look for there. I know that people discover a lot of unusual products there, and they're more inclined to purchase if it's something that they can't just like go to Amazon and say, I can get that on Amazon. You know what I mean? They'll purchase from that company. Now, if you can get it on Amazon, then the value of that, obviously, that's going to be your competition, is the fact that they could probably beat your price, it's free shipping, and Amazon guarantees it if they don't like it. Where if they order from a person and they don't know you, the order is going to be, it's going to take maybe 8-9 times of you getting in front of that person in order for them to trust and order. And this is where we talk about building a brand that people can trust. If you don't have consistency, if you're too new, this is why it takes time to build your business. It takes time for people to get on board with you, because they're not just going to trust you right away. They're certainly not going to trust you with their money, even if they go crazy over your stuff, unless you have a very professional looking profile and you have fans and you have engagement. That helps to establish credibility. A lot of people will come to us here at AVA Live Radio because the articles and the press and the activity and being on the show and doing interviews, that builds credibility with new people. It takes the credibility that we've built over 10 years and it says, hey, here's a nice new person. Why don't you go and check them out? And it's an interesting introduction that happens. It's a synergy that happens because we have built a trusted network of people. And they figure they're least likely to be a scam. They're least likely to be someone who will disappoint me if Jacqueline Jackson, AVA Live Radio are talking to them and introducing them and posting them, right? It's all credibility. So you want to make sure that you don't have expectations of, I'm going to make all these sales with all these new people right away. They won't trust you if they can shop it somewhere else. So you, one, have to establish that you are an artist with a brand, you are consistent, you have an inventory, and you wear your own stuff. Like if it's merchandise, you wear your own stuff. If it's music, you better have fans that really love your music and buy into your story. And if you're not telling your story, then they can't buy into it. So this kind of all works together in sales, right? So like a lot of people say, well, I've been trying to push sales and I'm not selling anything, and you know, it's been really hard. And I said, well, how long have you had your, record out for sale? It's been a week. It's been 10 days. It's been 15 days. And I'm like, okay, all right. So how many people have seen it? Oh, a lot of people have seen it. How many people have seen your post? Like your latest post? Oh, it's like 50 people have seen my post. Okay, well, like 50 people who? Random people that skipped the post? Random people that like saw you for the very first time? People that just visually saw the post? Did they hear your music? Do you know they hear your music? Did they write to you about your music and say, wow, where do I get it? You gave it to them and they didn't buy? What happened in that transaction that makes you think that you failed? Because you really have to look at it and have realistic expectations here. Like people aren't just going to buy because you said so. You're not entitled to their money, right? You have to earn that. And that comes with time. So have a plan. If you don't have a plan, go work with our team at AVA Live Radio. Just go to avaliveradio.info/airplay, and we'll run down a list of things to do pre and post these releases so that you can start gearing towards sales, so that you can start figuring it out. And you can always message me. I mean, all of my clients message me all the time. I'm answering questions for you right now. That's why I'm here. So like, if you're having trouble with this, enlist a team, for crying out loud. Get somebody on board so that you can start doing it right and you won't be so frustrated. Okay, so 75% of Instagram users have taken action from the platform, like visiting the website of the company after seeing the products. So true. I discover people all the time, like I said before. I constantly discover them. So yes, definitely happens. A rise in Instagram stories views makes posting fun content that helps to tell your story easy and efficient. Now, I use Instagram stories to tell the story. Not only have I, in the course of building, and this is why I built it so that I could relate to a lot of your questions a little bit more, right? Realistically, see what's going on the platform. Is it possible? Is it not? I've already sold so many pieces of my artwork. I can tell you I've sold them like crazy because of that Instagram platform, and it's very small. Like on my personal, I think I have under 15,000 people maybe, and then on my Instagram artist page, which is Jacqueline Jack's Artist, there's like 4,000 people. which doesn't seem like a lot, but do you know what 4,000 people can accomplish if they are all super fans of your work? If they really like you and your work and you tell your story, you only need like 100 people to purchase from you and you have got a business. Really, especially if the ticket price is $100 or more. I mean, that's $100,000. So like, think about it. It doesn't take big numbers isn't necessarily the whole picture here. I know a lot of people that have come to me for marketing advice that have 1 million followers and they can't sell one t-shirt. Yes, yes, I know. Or they have 1 million followers and they have 34 comments on a post. And I'm like, okay, I have 80, 100 comments on a post and I have 13,000 followers. You have 1 million followers and you have 15 comments. There's something wrong. Okay, so like it's the quality of the fan base that you build, it's not the number, right? And if you're stuck, now we got to rework it somehow. All right, so brands, businesses, and people with specific interests, and I'm reading this off the page. I wrote this blog post for you. Oh my God, specific interests, it's late, right? Are connecting quickly on Instagram through comments and direct messages. Ooh, hang on 1 second. I just dropped this thing. Okay. So true. So I don't have time all the time to answer all of my comments and messages. What I typically do on these platforms is I dedicate a few minutes every day to go and answer the comments that are most valuable. And I've been doing that lately. I used to answer all of them, but now, because answer all of them in the beginning, right? Because you want to try and turn those conversations into more power for that post. But now that I kind of have things built and I'm very, very busy during the day, and this is not my main thing, my social media platforms are not my thing, right? They're not building my business for me. They are an added benefit to what I do. So I answer the comments that are the most valuable. And I check in with my clients if they message me there. So what I typically do is I go to messages and I have my clients separated out, and those are the messages that I answer. If they're just random messages, I don't get to them all, and you can't just possibly get to them all. And if I did, I would be answering messages on 40 different platforms because it would be impossible and my day would be insane. I would never get to have any private time or space. So put it in perspective. If you're new and you're just building your fan base, you need people and you need people to connect with you. So it's a good idea to answer and figure out who's talking to you and see if they really love what you're doing, or they're just hitting on you, or they're just creepy or whatever, right? And if they're creepy, I actually block them. I do. But if they're not, and I know a lot of people are like, why are you blocking people? I do because I just don't want to be harassed. And it's like I said, I don't need people following me on these platforms and messaging me to harass me. And you've seen it. Like, some of you guys know that I've been seriously harassed and stalked, and it's been ridiculous. Like, people that say they're going to move here, like, to where I am, and that they're in love with me. They don't even know me. They want to marry me, and they're like, that's a whole nother thing. So we're not going there. But anyway, here are some tips for you to improve your Instagram posts. Okay, so first, what you should do, if you're just building a platform, then when you take pictures, learn to take really good pictures with your phone. Utilize what you have. Most of these cell phones, even the cheap ones, have really good photos. You could get a ring light, which is what I'm using right now. It's just a little ring light. They're about $30 for the regular size ones. They have remote controls, and they have little stands so you can put your phone in them. There's also these little ones. These are really like fun, but they go through batteries like crazy. But honestly, like, see, this always out of batteries because it takes one battery. But this will do, right? Like, if you're out and about and you need extra lighting, this helps get good quality in your photos. If you can't, if you can't have somebody put the flash on you. Another really good thing to do is put it on a stand because it will prevent the shaking. But if you're just doing selfies, a selfie stick works. Having somebody help you, lighting it up somewhere, or getting one of these like clip holders where you can clip it anywhere, that's really, really good. So just be prepared and try and gear your life towards getting better photos in the moment. When you're in the studio, when you're making your art, when you're creating your music, when you're gigging, you need photos big time. because the more photos you have, the faster you'll build your profile. You can't build on like one photo a week. You have to launch more content. So another thing you could do with content is you can, one, put a photo up and then take last year's photos and recycle them with words on them, like quotes on them, and they'll look different if you frame them differently, right? You can use Canva even in your phone to add words to them. You can put it in stories and add words to them, and then take that, save it to your phone, and then post it on the front page. You can create albums, flashbacks. There's so many things you can do. You can reintroduce a song by taking an old piece of the video, putting it in Instagram, and then telling people there's a link in the bio to go and listen to the video, and that you have a new one coming out if they'd like to join your email list. There are so many creative ways that you can get people's attention by using what you have, especially if you've been doing this for a little while. And if not, then just start taking pictures, because people love pictures on Instagram. It's like their favorite thing. So there's a lot of tips that I put on this blog post about rule of thirds, about how to take better pictures, tips for you to improve the picture quality. Go and check that out on that page. It's at avaliveradio.info/Jax Daily, and then it's Build Your Brand on Instagram, but that's like sectioned out by hyphens. So just go to avaliveradio.info/Jax Daily and look for the Build Your Brand on Instagram post. That's going to be easy. It also gives you video tips for looking more professional in video, talking about backgrounds. You want to shape out interesting things going on in the backgrounds, because obviously if you're just on a white wall, it's a little boring, right? People like to and are more engaging with people who have things behind them. And that's why a lot of these popular YouTubers, they're not just on plain white walls. They're actually either hanging a backdrop behind them, or they have personal items that they like behind them. Like I have this wall starting to build up with my artwork, which it's just, it's going to get bigger. So a lot of the artwork I've hung around the studio though, in the room. So, but like that is, it makes your video better for your live streams, for your pictures, for your photography. People actually ask me a lot about the background stuff, especially when it's my artwork. I love your art in the background. Thank you so much. Aw, you're a sweetheart. You paint also? That's great. Oh my gosh. You'll have to go and connect with my Jacqueline Jax artist profile so I can see your work, because I'll follow you. Just go over there and then leave me a comment on one of the posts, and then I'll see it, and then we can follow each other. Yeah, it's fun. I love it. It's the way I unwind, which I'm going to do in just about, 1 hour and a half. I'm going to be going back and working on my art. So what else can I tell you about posting? I told you about looking at your favorite people's posts, right? If they're doing really well, you want to shape up those first 9 to represent you. Think of the new and the old fans. So provide the old fans with value in the descriptions, provide them with really good photos and great quality music or art, whatever it is you're doing. Try to get visuals both in your stories as you go out throughout the day. How many stories? You could do as many as you want to, as long as they're interesting. But don't use this time, don't abuse people's interest with advertising. It sucks, and we don't want to see it. We're too smart for that. We all just are bored with it, and they click right by, and then the Instagram algorithm says, oh, their stuff is not engaging. We don't want to show it because people might drop the platform. They figure that they only have people for so long on their platform. So if they show your stuff and people whiz right by it and they don't engage, they're least likely to show it anymore. So literally you can kill a post by launching it and like having a bad post out there. You know what I mean? So try and find out what people want to see from you and what resonates with your audience. It could be just you in live stream, save it to your phone, put it on the front profile, and just live streaming, singing. It could probably, if you're a music artist, who wouldn't like to just see you sing your songs and sing covers? I mean, you could do that all day. So you get my idea, right? You get, I don't want to like keep talking about it, because to me, I feel like I can think of a million different things to make a profile look beautiful, right? But then also stand back from your profile and see how it looks all together. See if it looks messy. See if there's something you can do in a pattern. You know what I mean? Like, I remember several people were doing live jam sessions, but I could only see them from here down, you know? Or I could only see their head. I couldn't see them playing the guitar. And I thought, you know, I get it, but you're like this, and I only see you from here up, and you're playing the guitar, and I can't see the guitar, so I can't see you actually doing it, and like the finger work and the whole thing. And I thought to myself, you could do so much better on that video, right? Like, what's the deal? Why are you looking at yourself on video and you're not even in the screen? And why would you even film that and allow it to go on your profile and think that you're going to get anywhere with it? I don't understand the logic sometimes, but I'm mentioning it because I don't understand the logic. I don't get why people think that that's a good way to post video. You get my drift, right? So just be kind of sensible and think about what you watch and what stops you in your tracks. Like, if you go through Instagram and you start scrolling, what stops you? Is it color? Is it vibrant? Is it clear? Is it a video of someone you know? Probably something you know, right? Something you recognize, which is the power of brand. Consistency, somebody you can count on? Is it a post that you know comes from a certain person's profile that you always engage with because they do this one thing or they keep doing this one thing for you? Like, this is what happened to me with Jacqueline Jax on Instagram. People liked a picture of me and me just talking in the description of the post to you. And that is specifically what you want on there, and that's what gets most engagement. And when I don't do it, people miss me. They say, oh, I miss you, and I'm like, yeah, but I posted. And they're like, yeah, but you posted, but you didn't post these words. I go to your profile to read these words every day. So interesting. You have to listen to people, and you have to see what really, really matters to them, and that makes a huge difference. So people, I know for a fact people are thinking, they're scrolling, they're thinking, they're stopping for value, and they're enjoying certain things. I also know my own habits on Instagram. When I turn my artist page on, one thing I love to do there is I like to scroll through the explore page. And the reason why is I have the explore page shaped out now where I can discover just things I want to discover, because I engage with certain things all the time there, and I search out certain hashtags and I save hashtags. So this discover page populates ideas for me and things that will make me feel inspired for that day. So I love going to my artists Instagram scroll, the search scroll, where the explore page is. I love it. It's exactly what I want to see all the time. And I did that, like I said, by using certain hashtags, following certain hashtags, engaging with certain content consistently, and it really makes a difference on what I can explore and find. It actually finds people for me to connect with that I would have never known, and it also directs me to people that probably will be interested in connecting with me. It's interesting. It thinks. The algorithm actually thinks, and it like puts you in there. Think about using that in reverse. So like, if you are building a platform and you use the same arrangements of 100 hashtags that most define your work, the best define your work, then what's going to happen is people are going to start seeing you in those hashtags, and it's going to start recommending you because that's most what you're interested in. That's most about what you post. If you're consistent with your posts and you're getting engagement and it's increasing, then they're going to start showing you more and more. Like right now, my pages, let's see, my personal page gets 60 to 70% people who haven't followed me. So that means when I post through the hashtags I'm using, because the posts get engagement and I've already built a following for them, it is now showing all those posts all week long. And 60% of the people who are seeing the post, whether they engage with it or not, are from people not following me on the hashtags that I have used in the post. Does that make sense? So that's where you end up if you're consistent and you really niche down your posting and you get it real down where people are engaging with the posts. Another question that you guys asked me was, do pods work? Pods, they kind of work, like if you're just getting started, it's really good for regular people to engage with your profile, especially if they are in the same niche as you. I think it really matters. I don't think it's necessary, because eventually if just the same people are engaging with you and you're not you're not reaching out to new people. You're not like 50% of the time there aren't new fresh people coming in and out of the platform and seeing your content, then it gets stagnant. It's not going to help you either way. But I mean, if you're having trouble with engagement and you want to get a group of people together to support, you can certainly start there. But you have to get out there and you have to go out on those hashtags and find people. And you can do that in so many ways. Now, one of the ways that I have people driving traffic to my Instagram page is I have myself and also a couple of my marketing team people are out when we're out on Facebook in our groups and engaging with people. I leave a lot of leaders out there for people to have discussions. And when we have discussions, if I see anyone who is an artist or that might be interested in my page, I always say, hey, are you on Instagram? If you are, come to my profile and we'll, we can see each other's profiles. And that has really worked. It's actually brought in a couple hundred people every single week with very, very little work. Just by, you're going to have discussions out there on Facebook and stuff anyway. And I noticed that people see that conversation in those comments over time. And even if the comment is not for them, they'll still follow that. Then I also include the Instagram profiles on every blog post. I talk about it. I share it on Twitter. I'm constantly leading back. And that's really helped me build, because over time you're going to get, and this was another question, over time you're going to get a certain amount of people that will unfollow you versus follow. And that could be people that have left the platform, who have shut down their account or gotten shut down before. Maybe they just don't, they're just unfollowing a lot of people. Maybe they have an app that unfollows people that don't follow them. That's what happens to me a lot is people will follow me and hope that I will follow them, but maybe I don't like their stuff, or it's just not my bag, or I don't see that they followed me and I didn't check it out. And so therefore they have an app where they log in and it unfollows everyone who's not following you, up to like 200 people a day. So you're going to lose a certain percentage of people that follow you. And this is why you want to keep putting these strategies and plans in place, so that one, people follow you when you hit the platform. When they're on your post, they want to follow you. They want to save your posts because they're happy with them. They don't want to not save your posts. They don't want to miss them. So you want to create an environment on all your platforms and all your social pages, including Instagram, that actually does that. All right, guys, so my voice is going away. I wanted to give you as much information as I could. I hope you stuck around for this whole thing. If not, it's going to be on video here on YouTube. And I'll also put it on the page on the blog post for avaliveradio.info. Don't forget, if you're a musician and you want to come work with me and my marketing team, that's what I do for a living. So just go to avaliveradio.info/airplay, avaliveradio.info/airplay. Our team will take a look at your music, and if it's something we can help you with and we feel like you will get value through working with us, and you've got music on Spotify, you can benefit there from the streaming success that we're able to build, and hopefully get everybody trending for the good music that they have, then we certainly want to invite you to come work with us. It'd be fun. All right. Have a good day, and thank you so much for being here. I'm really glad that you hung out with me and took a little listen to all of these goodies. Bye, guys.